Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Welcome everyone to round number 7, the penultimate round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Elite, MRA Advisory Group, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. Tonight we head 7 hours northeast of Monza to Spielberg, Austria, to the little circuit nestled in the Styrian Mountains that is almost as many rings as an Audi R8 LMS GT3. Formerly known as the Österreich Ring and then the A1 Ring. The visually stunning 2.7-mile 10-turn Red Bull Ring features over 200 feet of elevation change, and the World Challenge's GT3 and LMP racers will find here some of the quickest laps of the season and ample passing opportunities amongst the mix of low, medium, and high-speed Herman Tilke designed corners. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth as always is Larry Lefty McLeod, along with Jonathan Grabowski in that virtual production trailer, bringing you all the best views of tonight's action. And so good evening, Larry, and welcome to Novemberfest.
It kind of is here at the end of that November, and I love the Red Bull Ring. I am super excited to see our World Challenge Series making a stop here. I think it's a fantastic, short but very exciting lap around this place. I think it's going to create great racing. It always does every time, whether it's Formula One here or any of the other sports car races. And tonight, of course, World Challenge. We'll be zipping around this tiny little track, but going really quickly, doing it lots of side by side. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest issue, and repeat after me, everybody, track limits will probably be the biggest challenge here.
Track limits in turn 4. Let's have it.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, and going into to the hairpin over at turn 4, always a challenge here at the Red Bull Ring. And we'll see how our racers. I also know, Larry, and I thought it was kind of odd as I was going back through the history of the Osterreichs ring and A1 ring and the Red Bull Ring, that the Red Bull Ring is also has also hosted, surprise, surprise, the Red Bull one of the flying championships as well. I have a feeling they probably had more problems with track limits than some of our racers tonight will have.
Probably.
Though. Yeah, probably. All right, so let's do this. Why don't we turn things over? Since this is the first time, I believe that the World Challenge has been to the Red Bull Ring, and I believe that holds for our other Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech series as well. Let's do this. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of our venue.
Welcome everyone to beautiful Styria, Austria, as we are here at the Red Bull Ring to give you a track guide for this incredible race here this evening. 10 turns, just shy of 2.7 miles as we head out of the final turn and work our way up this straightaway. Pit area to the right, main grandstands to the left as we get ready to dive into turn 1 here. Very tight right-hander, very difficult to get through there at the start of races. Now heading up the next long straightaway, this will take us up to the slight bend of turn 2 as we head into another uphill entry. Very daunting brake zone here, as this is a very tight 90 elbow to the right through turn 3. We'll get a nice launch up out of here as this will bring us on to the backstretch at the top of the mountainside. This will bring us to turn 4, known as Roche. Another heavy brake zone. Not quite as tight of a corner here to the right, but coming out, we'll go right into a slight bend of turn 5, and then we'll stay track right to set up our entry for turn 6 here. Very long rotating radius as we come out of 6, headed down into turn 7, starting sector 2 here, out of 7, slight bend to the right of 8, and now we'll head to Rent, turn 9, heading down the hill into another fast rotating right-hander out of 9, then into the final corner, right down to the apex of turn 10. Get a good launch up out of here as this will bring us back out onto the front straightaway and across the finish line. There you go. There's your track guide for the beautiful Red Bull Ring. Thank you for being with us.
And thanks to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide. And Larry, tonight in one of our GTP cars, I was a little surprised not to see him in his traditional BMW. So things went a little more quickly than normal in tonight's track guide. But you can see there, things just go by so quickly. Our GTP cars in practice this week, Larry, we're running, actually Bailey Petrowski was the fastest of them all. Ran a 1:16.58, a 1:16.6 in qualifying, and the GT3 cars by no means slow. 2.7 miles in under a minute and a half.
Yeah, I kind of look at this place like a little bit wider, a little bit longer version of Lime Rock. It just kind of goes around like a little bull ring. Yeah, it's got a left-hander really in this thing, but 2 of them back to back, and that's about it. Other than that, it's just a couple of these slightly more than or slightly less than 90-degree corners, but it is so fast, got just enough elevation change to make it a ton of fun. And the side-by-sides are usually spectacular around here, whether it's coming out of turn 3, which is a hairpin at the top of the hill, or the downhill braking hairpin of 4. Then they go side by side through 6 and 7 and 9 and 10, and it's just going to be astounding. But as you mentioned, it's the track limits and the slowdowns that'll get people around here, because it is completely unforgiving when you catch a slowdown there at turn 10 or even in turn 1. So I'm looking forward to some of that, and I think it's going to be a pretty good racing tonight here with a couple of cars, sets of cars that are always fast and always fun to watch.
Yeah, indeed. So we've got our drivers out for qualifying right now. You're watching Fernando Takahashi out in his, I believe that is one of the Porsche 963 machines for WJM Motorsports. And our drivers are getting underway with their 15-minute qualifying session, where we give each driver 4 flying laps in order to set their fastest time and set the grid for tonight's race. It's what we call lone qualifying, where all the drivers will appear, at least it'll appear to them, as though they have the track all to themselves. And we've got our drivers out starting with the exception, I think, right now of Bailey Petrowski, who's on both he and Takahashi, who are on their second flying laps. Most of our drivers just working their first right now. So let's do this as we are starting to see some actually some GT3 and GTP times come in. Larry, let's quickly point out to our viewers how they can tell each one of the 3 different classes that we have running, as we're watching Tanner Dibble right now in his Porsche, the appropriately numbered 963 Porsche. All of our GTP, our prototype cars, they will have black mirrors and windshield banners, black number boards on them, as well as end plates on their wings. I don't think you're going to have much trouble picking out a GTP car from our GT3 touring cars. In the GT3 class, let's take a look at Michael Brooks, who is, for the moment, with 1 flying lap in the books, our provisional pole sitter. In class, he is in GT3 Pro. The Pro drivers, they have the Ricmotech red number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on their wings. And now we'll take a look at one of our GT3 AM drivers. And like Jackson Detmer here in his absolutely gorgeous-faced BMW M4 GT3 machine. Jackson is one of our AM category drivers. You can pick out the AM drivers because they've got the green number boards, windshield banners, mirrors, and end plates on their wings. And as you can see there on the side of the left side of your screen, our timing tower will display those colors for you as well. All right, Larry, so with 3 flying, or probably 2 flying laps in the books, Bailey Petrowski, now he is your provisional pole sitter in GTP with a qualifying time of 1:16.58. And what did I say that he ran in practice this week, Larry? I said he
Something
ran
faster?
No, he ran a 1:16.58 in practice. So
A 5.8 what, Greg? I mean, he's got a 5.84 now.
yeah, so yeah, he's pretty much, talk about Mr. Consistency there, as he sets fast time there, and yeah, improves by a couple thousandths of a second. If we jump over here, all right, let's take a look. Yeah, look at that, Larry, a 16:37.
Wow.
As Petrowski crosses the line, and Petrowski's really looking to come back after what I guess he would probably term to be an oddity for him. Bailey finished up 7th at Monza 2 weeks ago, and we saw him drop from the lead in the championship from 1st to 2nd as Ben Rose took over the lead. And actually here, as we're watching now, Leo Dragotta, our GT3 AM driver for Dragon Sport Racing, who I believe at the moment is sitting atop the AM category championship. No, I take that back. Dre Divock is currently your AM category leader. Dragotta is currently running 2nd in the championship, but so far fastest GT3 driver here in qualifying, Larry.
Yep. And he's very fast and currently ahead of the Pro class, even by about that 1/10 of a second, which has them on your timing ticker there as the 2nd class shown. But we'll see if somebody in the Pro category can up them, because Leo right now has brought his A game right now into the AM ranks and has that advantage. As you mentioned, Dre Divock comes in as the points leader in class, but just by a handful. So with tonight plus 1 more round to go, it's coming down to this last little bit there in GT3 AM. Should be pretty exciting, because we got a shot there of, it should be Dre Divock in that number 12.
Yeah, that's Dre, currently sitting 3rd here in GT3 AM qualifying, and looks like 6th overall in GT3 qualifying. Just behind the Orion Racing teammates of Robert Hartley and Travis Schwenke, just ahead. Those 2 are Pro drivers. All right, Larry, let's quickly here, as we are just about halfway through qualifying, and most of our drivers have about a lap left in qualifying, start taking a look at where we stand in the points here, as we are working round number 7 tonight of 8 here as part of season 10 of the World Challenge. As we mentioned, Ben Rose took the win in GTP 2 weeks ago at Monza with Tanner Dibble and his DNA Motorsports the Porsche of Tanner Dibble finishing second, and it was a DNA Motorsports 1-2-3 in GTP at Mazda with Rose and his caddy, Dibble in the Porsche, Ryan Reisman in his caddy, and then we had Fernando Takahashi and Aaron Beaver from Aerokinetics rounding out the top 5. If we take a look at the point standings currently in GTP, Ben Rose, with that win, moves up into the lead. He's got a 5-point advantage now over Bailey Petrowski. Both of these drivers have 3 wins on the season, so they've split the 6 races so far. Ryan Reisman from DNA currently sitting 3rd in the championship. He is 35 points out of the lead. Takahashi and Beaver rounding out your top 5. Should note, though, both Takahashi and Beaver separated only by 2 points, and Bobby Childs from D2D only 4 points back from there. All right, so let's quickly jump over to GT3 AM, where Dre Divock, and it was an all Porsche 911 podium 2 weeks ago at Mazda. Dre Divock taking the win with Leo Dragota second, and then Team Collusion's Alex Brown finishing in 3rd. And with the 2 Dominate Racing Aussies, Michael Caffrey and Michael Steiner, rounding out your top 5. If we take a look at the championship standings, there is a 4-point difference right now separating our championship leader, Dre Divock, with Leo Dragota running second in the championship. It is then another 31 points back to Frito Sport Racing's Chuck Labano with Alex Brown and Jeff Brooks, your top 5. And you can see there how close it is right now between Brown and Brooks, only 2 points separating those 2 drivers. And well, only another 6 back to Jackson Detmer from Elevated Esports. So real tight running in AM. And then finally in Pro, we had Ken Copeland from Team Esport Racer taking the win. Margin of victory over Orion Racing's Mike Dam, Larry, 35 1/1000ths of a second. With Copeland there taking his first win of the season. Travis Schwenke from Orion finished 3rd. Hartley from Orion finished 4th, and Chris Thorman and David Payton, the 2 D2D Sim Racing Ferraris, finishing 5th and 6th. And looking at the point standings, it is Mike Dam still going into round number 7 tonight with a pretty commanding lead, 37 points, but only 3, and that's over his teammate Robert Hartley. Only another 3 points back to Ken Copeland from Team Esport Racer, who's 3rd in the championship. Another 9 back to Iago Mores from the Wrong Stuff. I don't believe Mores ran at Monza. And then Travis Schwenke from Orion running in 5th, and only 2 points separating Mores from the Wrong Stuff and Schwenke from Orion. Chris Thorman running 6th in the championship. Jeff Jacobs sitting 40th, and at this point it's Mike Dam. He's got half the wins on the season, with Copeland, Mores, and Schwenke each sharing one race win apiece.
Yeah, and that win for Copeland 2 weeks ago was one of the greatest finishes we have seen. A well-earned victory, his first this season. Being able to grab that win. In this class, this pro category GT3 has had a variety of winners and races this year. You had, of course, Iago Mores won a round. I think it was at Watkins Glen. You had Schwenke got a round. Mike Dam won a couple of rounds. Copeland got his. Very interesting how this is playing out. Dam's been the most consistent. That's why he's got the point lead. But Hartley, Copeland, Mores, Schwenke are all kind of in that other mix there for podium spots. Should be interesting.
All right, let's do this, Larry. As qualifying now, looks like all of our drivers that are going to go and take their 4 flying laps have done so. A couple racers like Jeff Brooks only completed 2 laps of qualifying and then decided to call it a session. But Mr. Brooks had good reason for it. He's sitting in the green room right now. Let's talk to the driver of the Wrong Stuff GT3 AM Porsche 911. He's currently sitting 5th in the championship, and I'm sure looking for a little redemption after finishing outside the top 10 2 weeks ago at Monza.
All right, Jeff. Hey, welcome to the pre-race interview. You're on mute, just to let you know. I'm glad to maybe get a chance to talk to you a little bit. You've got your qualifying laps, only 2 laps taken tonight. You decided you didn't need the other ones and just wanted to focus on the interview.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of just planned for 2, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I stopped at 2 with low fuel, and I was satisfied with the time. So
Yeah, solid time. Got you right now, second on the grid there. 4th overall on the grid, but second amongst the AMs. You got looks like a pretty racy Leo Dragota tonight. Going
he's
to be
very fast.
contentious. Yeah, he looks pretty darn quick tonight. But yeah, so far this season, you're in a bit of a battle. You've had 1 win already earlier in the year. I think that was back at Road Atlanta. You think you can bring some of that magic back here at Red Bull Ring? Is this one of your tracks you've been focusing on?
Honestly, I can't match the pace of Leo right now. So if I can get second to him, that'd be great. Or if we have a good race, we'll see how that works out. I really just want to be consistent here. My season's been pretty rough, I'll say. I've had like good pace in past races, but I've been really inconsistent. So I just want to be out here and have some fun and finish races, not cause incidents. That's my goal.
Well, I know you've got a fan club that watches these each week. They're in the chat on the YouTube all the time and hoping for some success here, because I'm looking at the grid order and I'm seeing there's this Michael Brooks on the grid lined up right next to you.
Who's that?
What do you know about this guy?
No, he introduced me to the league. So we've always like played games together since we were young. We're like 2.5 years apart. So I've always been really close with gaming and racing and stuff. And now it's kind of evolved to getting in this race league, which has been a lot of fun. And I really don't want to make the Brooks squad mad at me. So we'll try to keep it together tonight.
From the chat, it looks like it would take an awful lot to get Anna Brooks upset at you. So we'll cover for you if need be.
Yeah, but it's great. You got a good bunch of fans waiting for you. You and your brother get to start there on that second road together. Looks like he got you in qualifying, but just a little bit, but gives you that nice outside line going into turn 1. So good luck tonight, and with any luck, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you in about an hour and 15.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Jeff Brooks, driver of the number 85, the Wrong Stuff GT3 AM Porsche 911, looking to convert that second place start in GT3 AM tonight into a win. But as you mentioned, Larry, he's gonna have his work cut out for him with Leo Dragota. They are putting in some very strong times, not only in qualifying. He was also our fastest GT3 driver in practice as well this week. All right, let's take a look at the starting order for tonight's race. And Larry, a little bit smaller GTP field here this evening. Let's take a look as Bailey Petrowski from D2D is going to be your pole sitter with a smoking fast qualifying time of 1:16.372. Tanner Dibble from DNA Motorsports. He's going to be starting on the outside of the front row in that number 963 Porsche 963. Ben Rose, also from DNA, will be starting on the inside of row number 2 with Fernando Takahashi from WJM, starting 4th tonight. Then we've got Bobby Childs in the, I believe, the only other Acura in the field tonight other than Bailey Petrowski's. Bobby's going to start 5th, with Ryan Reisman starting 6th in the number 414 car for DNA. And then we've got Bill Molefield from WJM. He's going to start 7th.
Over in the GT3s, of course, we mix our AMs and pros, and that means at the front of that field is going to be Leo Dragota, an AM driver in the Porsche. I tell you, the Porsches are fast here tonight. Leo on the pole there from Dragon Sport Racing. He'll be lined up alongside your points leader in pro from Orion Race Teams. It's Mike Dam driving one of the BMWs in the field. I think all of the drivers in Orion and BMWs tonight. Second row is going to be Michael Brooks from the pro category. He'll be on that second row out of the Wrong Stuff Racing. And then, of course, we just talked to Jeff Brooks, second of the grid in the AM. He'll be on the outside of row 2 there from the Wrong Stuff. On the inside of row 3, got Rob Hartley. He'll be lined up alongside his Orion Racing teammate, Travis Schwenke. So there you go, to all Orion in row 3. Row 4 is going to be Dre Debach, your AM points leader, alongside Ken Copeland, your round winner 2 weeks ago out of the pro category. Chris Peters and Jackson Detmer will be on the row following on with them, with the Elevated Esports and Peters Motorsports. Following them, you got Lucas Dragota, Leo's teammate, back there from Dragon Sport, lined up alongside Alex Brown and Alex from Team Collusion. Following them, you got Jeff Jacobs, Michael Caffrey, Chris Dorman, Dominic Angelicchio, Phil Caffrey, and we're going to turn this over to the start of the GTPs.
That's right. All right, so green flag, and we'll run down the rest of that order in just a few moments as the GTP drivers get the green flag, and on their way, Tanner Dibble jumping out to an early lead over Bailey Petrowski, with Fernando Takahashi, Ben Rose sitting in fourth, and Childs, Reisman, and Mulfield. And we've seen this, Larry, before, where Petrowski does take it somewhat easy on the start, tries to get the heat in those tires and get the car underneath them, as we see Bobby Childs once again being somewhat aggressive here to open things up with Ryan Reisman as we jump over to the start here in GT3 as our field making it through turn 1 successfully. Mike Dam from Orion jumping out to an early lead, gets around Leo Dragota, then Michael Brooks and Jeff Brooks, then Travis Schwenke. That is your top 5 with Robert Hartley, Ken Copeland, our winner in Pro 2 weeks ago, currently sitting 5th in Pro, as most of the field here all lined up. Larry heading in over to the hairpin over at turn 3. They're going to make that run down the hill down towards turn 4.
Turn 4, this downhill braking, cold tires opening lap could be interesting. Let's see if they can get through there. A lot of aggression could pay off if you can do it cleanly. You watch this downhill braking on board here with Alex Brown. You can see he's on the outside line. He's got one of the cars down on the inside. It might be Chris Thorman. And I see Jeff Jacobs in there as well. It's kind of a whole scattered group as they're plummeting down the hill, now heading around through these left-hand complexes here at turn 6 and then turn 7 as we flash to the GTPs, and already getting aggressive at the front. It's Tanner Dibble alongside Bailey Petrowski.
Yep, as Dibble started on the outside of the front row, got that early start on Petrowski, and Petrowski now looked like he had to check up a little bit on Dibble here as they came through turn 3. They're going to start to make their run now down the hill. And looks like early problems, Larry, for Bobby Childs.
He's not too far off, though, at least. It didn't look like he had too much of an incident. I don't think I see any damage on that car, so we'll catch up with Bobby in a few minutes. While at the front, Dibble is under pressure from Petrowski as they go around turn 6, which leads you immediately to the next left-hander at turn 7, which is even faster. Get the curbing just right. It is ridiculously fast onto this middle straight, which is kind of this kink at 8 down into 9. But watch for Takahashi. We know he's been aggressive in all these races, especially in the opening laps. Let's see if he decides to pop move inside Petrowski. He does not. Petrowski, though, looks like the aggressor here.
All right, as they come into the final 2 corners through Red Bull Mobile turn and onto the front straight to complete lap number 2, it is still Tanner Dibble for WJM. All right, let's jump back over to GT3 action here, Larry, where it is still Mike Dam and Leo Dragota. And at least for the time being, it looks like at least the top 6 drivers have gotten things worked out here. We've got Dragota, Brooks, and Michael Brooks and Jeff Brooks back behind our leader Mike Dam. Then Schwenke and Hartley, Ken Copeland as well. But the Brooks brothers there, looks like Jeff Brooks dropping back behind Robert Hartley and Travis Schwenke.
A little bit conservative, I think, here in this opening bit. No one wants to pick up those early off tracks. No one wants to kind of get out of this thing. An hour and 15 minutes, a long race around a very kind of exhausting sort of track. These straightaways are not the longest. You don't get a lot of time to relax. And it seems like there's these braking points, passing the zones. You got to hit the exits just right. It's a very intense track to drive in a long race. I think everyone right now is kind of just getting that settling in moment as we've got our points leader from the M category, Dre Debach, there in at number 12. Just kind of settling in currently in 3rd in the M category.
Watch him come through that very heavily cambered corner again. Lots of elevation change at this track, Larry. Definitely gives a lot of character to it as it's built right in the side of the mountain here. And look at this, Larry, as Dibble starts to open up a bit of an advantage. Bailey Petrowski getting a bit of a charge here from Fernando Takahashi.
Yep, Fernando's always aggressive early. Bailey might just let him go because he knows that Fernando is not always the most consistent. He'll be able to catch him later in this race. Maybe he's thinking about holding his tires in check for a later run. Also kind of keeping an eye on Ben Rose, currently back in 4th. Rose, of course, coming off of 3 straight victories. Really conservative in the opening stages here.
Yeah, he also, much like Petrowski, just trying to ensure that he's got the equipment up to temp, and he's just sitting back there, and he's certainly, you know, Larry, not letting this lead pack of 3 drivers ahead of him get away. As we've got a driver that appeared to be one of our GT3 machines that was off, and I think that might have been Lucas Dragota in the 119 machine.
Keep our eye on that. There he is.
Well, there's the 119, so maybe not. Okay, I think it was Dragota. Let's take a look and we'll see exactly what happened here.
Coming down into this turn 7, second of the 2 back-to-back left-handers there. Just gets a little squirrely, uses some of the gravel that probably will get him a slowdown penalty anyway, which might have been why he was so slow, but he does keep it rolling without making any contact anymore.
Yeah, and that we didn't see any of the GTP traffic come through there, so it must have been another car that had some issues.
Oh, yeah. There's your winner from Monza, Kim Copeland, going wide there. He's going to drop back in the order, and he's going to be the first one to face all the GTPs coming through. There goes Dibble. We'll catch a replay of this one.
Yeah, let's definitely see what happened to Copeland here.
So there's Copeland alongside the 85 of Brooks. That's Jeff Brooks is alongside as they go down into 4 alongside each other, and there's contact. I don't know. Brooks maybe ran a little wider off the 8. Again, now we're on board here, following Ben Rose. He's up to 3rd. He's gotten around Takahashi. Now he's just following Bailey, his chief points rival here, as they go up into turn 3 at the top of the hill.
And it is getting awfully congested right here, Larry. You saw the run that Rose got. You know, was able to pull up right to the back of Petrowski there. No real way to do anything with it as he had GT3 traffic off to his left. And
now it looks like he's just looking for visibility here as he pops out just to look down the inside going into 4. Follows Petrowski, does Rose. Takahashi right in behind as Jackson Detmers, that BMW, is letting him on through. Now it's the 43 of Chris Peters letting everybody on through down the inside as he's got the wrong stuff teammates now in front of him. So that looks like Divock in the 12, leading the 85, of course, of Jeff Brooks, and those two trying to stay out of the way of the GTPs. So Jeff backed off a little more than Dre did.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like Jeff decided to take evasive action off the track surface there.
They've lost a spot in doing so to Chris Peters.
All right, as our GT drivers are completing their 5th flying lap, and already the GTP prototype car is a lap up there, now starting to work lap number 7. And you can see here, wow, is Rose and Takahashi just having to use this rolling chicane here of GT cars to just try and keep up with Petrowski.
Oh, and it looks like Fernando ran a little wide, but was able to keep it going there. You got to make sure you don't go too wide at turn 3. You can pick up a slowdown. And there's a giant sausage curb out there too, that some of these prototypes might not take too kindly to. It looks like he's able to keep it running. But we'll keep our eyes on that later in the race. This is the battle for 2nd overall right now. Leo Dragota there in the Dragon Sport Racing Porsche, just ahead of Michael Brooks and Travis Schwenke. As Mike Dam's got just a little bit of a cushion now, about a 1.5 seconds on these guys.
And we've got some of our GTP traffic trying to work their way through as well.
Should be Rose, I think, coming through there.
I think that's Ricmotech.
Oh, I think you're right. That is
in the 414 machine. In the 414 Cadillac here. He gets around.
He's got a pretty quick. Bobby Childs not too far behind him either. So Bobby doing a good job with traffic management to get caught back up here in the pack of these GTPs.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Bobby early on, but it hasn't really hurt him all that much, as you mentioned. He's not very far behind Ryan Ricmotech.
And there goes Bobby. Yeah, right past our 3rd place in pro, Travis Schwenke.
Yeah,
I think we've got the replay of Bobby opening lap.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to embarrass somebody, we might as well do it. Let's take a look.
We'll be nice to Bobby. Bobby there.
Well, yeah, I think we might.
He got a little late on the brakes, and around he went right in front of Fernando. But no harm, no foul, no contact. And he does continue. That explains about the 5 seconds of loss.
All right, let's go back to live action here, and let's look. Is Travis?
That's Schwenke. Yeah, making a move down the inside of Michael Brooks, or the outside, I should say, as Brooks has the inside line. If Swanky can hold this, he'll have the inside at 6. He's got his teammate, Rob Hartley, there right behind him. He does have that inside. They'll go side by side. Brooks gives him the spot.
And we've got the double left-handers here, and they'll work down into turn 7. Very high speed. Oh, look, Brooks trying to sneak underneath the 16 machine.
I think Travis may have got a little wider than he wanted to. To me, that the line you want to be is the one that Brooks was on. It would be super tight down there. I don't know if it's a little bit of extra camber down near the apex, but Travis made it a little wide, which is why he was slower. But now it's Rob Hartley, the aggressor, on the outside at 10. Probably picking up a 1x for that, but stays on track. Still trying to pressure Brooks now to take a bad line coming off a 1.
Here we go as they drag down into turn number 1, and Hartley's got to take the long way around, and he gets back, slots in back behind the Wrong Stuff driver. But look at this, Larry, the gap that Mike Dammit opened up early on, it is now evaporated, and Leo Dragotta from Dragon Sport Racing, the 118 car, our pole sitter tonight in GT3, he's pulled up right back underneath the wing of the 93.
I think these Porsches have got something for these BMWs here. And Leo, of course, very capable hands behind the wheel of one of those Porsches, and he now has gotten into his groove, got past the cold tire phase in these cars, and now he's happily pressuring Mike Dam up and down and happily putting a gap behind him to where Travis Schwenke and Michael Brooks are fighting it out. Schwenke, though, looks like he's also picked up the pace now, pulling ahead of Brooks back there. So
yeah,
Schwenke
wow, you can see that. Yeah. He's opened up now almost 10 car lengths. Just needed.
So we're keeping an eye here. Watch Leo. Good line there, using all the curves around that the inside of 7. Really float the car around that corner, get the good strong exit off of that. You see again, using all the curve down the inside here, and they'll probably even hit the sausage curve. Yeah, here on the inside of 10.
See as the 118 gets a run down the front straight. Not making up a lot of ground underneath the draft here, Larry, as they come down in the 1 and 2 mentioned. The straights here, not all that long, and the run from turn 10 down to the Nicky Lauda curve is the shortest of the 3.
Yeah, and from 1 up to 3, where they're going now, it is the longest of them,
right.
But also it's the one that goes up hills. you get that for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's look at the battle here. Is Bailey Petrowski now is I think come to grips with getting his car up to temp, and he is now battling Tanner Dibble for the lead as Dibble got balked there coming out of turn number 10, and Petrowski moves down to the inside, tries to push Dibble out a little bit, and Bailey Petrowski, he is your new leader.
That was aggressive positioning as they were heading to the break-in zone there. You can see Petrowski just kind of nudge and nudge and nudge, and Dibble didn't want to move and realized he had no choice. Eventually he did yield a little bit, just enough to give Bailey a good exit off of 1. But Dibble, very aggressive here early, had that lead. Now we'll see, can he in his Porsche stick with Petrowski in the Acura? They pulled up by 4 seconds on Rose. Was up there in the 3rd, but not too far back.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like they had lost Rose, who is about another 4 seconds back from them, as we jump back to the midfield in GTP. As we are watching right now, we've got the Wrong Stuff Porsche, Jeff Brooks, then Chris Thorman. Brooks is running 4th in AM, Thorman is running 5th in Pro, and then we're on board right now with Jackson Detmer in the number 77 BMW. Oh, look at that, as Brooks has some issues coming out of the corner. Great run there from Thorman.
Yeah, Jeff Brooks there. I tell you, run a little bit wide. Now, when you want to get on the gas early, you want to be aggressive, but if you get too wide, there's a giant sausage curve up there, which will really disrupt your grip coming off of that corner. He managed to keep it together, but here, Thorman really pressuring now the back of Brooks, even coming off of that turn 3 hairpin.
But look at that, Larry. The Porsche almost just jumped out of that corner.
Yeah.
And Thorman just couldn't get the power down with the Ferrari.
Oh, he's going to try and outbrake him, though. And he does. I think, though, Brooks has a better run down to 6 here. So he's probably going to hold this position all the way through 6 into 7. As Detmer looks like he wants to have a piece of this here as well.
a little bit further behind there. We just saw it was that. I was looking to see if that was Copeland and Brown.
Yeah. Copeland's back there, not too far. And there he is after his early spin when he had the contact with Jeff Brooks earlier. So he's on a recovery. He's got some pretty good pace.
Yeah, and he and Brown had a little bit of a coming together at the rear fenders here, but Copeland nudges himself by.
So this looks like Travis Schwenke had gotten around Leo Dragotta for second overall. Dragotta now still leading in the AM, but it's now an Orion 1-2 in the overall of the race with Dam and Schwenke. Told you, Schwenke was definitely on the move there once he got around the Hartley and Michael Brooks. But here's the replay of Schwenke. And using some of that traffic, it's a much better run behind Takahashi there at 10, and Dragotta had to kind of give it up, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like Dragotta had to check up just a little bit as Takahashi was bringing the GTP Porsche down through the final corner, and yeah, certainly affected the 911 of Dragotta, who now sits third in GT3, and looks like Dragotta now for the first time tonight really under pressure from the two pro drivers, Brooks and Hartley.
Right in the middle of it tonight is Leo Dragotta, but was quickest in the practice during the week. He was on pole of all the GT3s here tonight. He's got the pace. Just maybe right there got caught with some bad luck catching having a yield for some of the GTP traffic, but I will not count out his chances to win this race even as an AM driver. It's certainly in the possibility tonight.
Absolutely, and he's still got about over a 5.5 second advantage over Dre Divock, who is running second in AM. And I was, obviously not part of this photo as we jump back over. There's Dre, as he's just had some of our GTP traffic work their way through.
Some of these GTP cars have to position themselves just right while the whole line of GT3s are all fighting it out here. Of course, with Chris Peters, Chris Thorman, Jackson Detmer, all kind of lined up right in here, and leading that group there, of course, is Jeff Brooks. Look at the Mercedes of Michael Caffrey. Yeah. Caffrey, one of the Australians in the field. Michael and Philip, of course, both Caffreys, both Australian.
No relation.
I'm assuming they're related. I'm assuming it's a lot like the old Brooks Brothers thing. Maybe we'll have a Brooks and Caffrey family feud tonight. And a Dragotta, we'll have all three families just
we'll
going at it.
Dragotta, I don't know. It'll be a big WWE cage match. Yeah. Gosh. Hey, Larry, want to thank Buttkicker, who is once again one of our primary sponsors here of the Ricmotech World Challenge. And at the end of season awards this year, once again, one lucky driver will win a Buttkicker Gamer Plus system valued at $279.95, not Australian, but US dollars. And if you want to turn up the immersion in your sim rig, visit thebuttkicker.com.
Or Canadian dollars, or any of the other non-US currencies that people trade in and use on an everyday basis, who also happen to join our league. Yeah, folks, we've got a couple of continents covered here. That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Look at this little scrap going on. That is Chris Peters, just barely in the Porsche ahead, or just kind of leading the three wide now, with Detmer on the inside, Thorman right behind him on the outside.
As we mentioned there, Caffrey in the mustard yellow Mercedes.
You gotta love
back
this.
behind, and
four
and
different
Ken
makes
sitting right there.
Yeah, 4 different makes. Then you get to Copeland, you get the second of the AMGs, but a Porsche, a BMW, a Ferrari, and then 2 AMGs all lined up. It's pretty equal out there. Run for Detmer, thinking he's got room, had to back out of it though. You see that? It's going to cost him a spot.
Yes, it is. He runs wide, drops a wheel into the gravel, and
two spots. He's got both AMGs going around him. Copeland is on a full recovery drive here. He wants to now get past Michael Caffrey.
And it looks looked like Detmer pulled off line to let both of those drivers through. I'm wondering if he had gotten a slowdown penalty there, Larry.
He may have, it's possible, or he was just so far off pace. It's one of those corners, you're on the gas super early if you do it right. And if you have to lift somewhere past the apex of 7 as you're getting towards 8, it just costs you all the way down into 9. So, or maybe he got a little bit too wide in 7 or into 8, and that'll also cost you a slowdown. As Bobby Childs makes his way through this scrap, or making his way through this. He hasn't made it through yet.
Hopefully not taking out his Ferrari driving teammate Chris Thorman there as he makes his way through. Childs currently running 6th in GTP, and he has started to fall a little bit off the pace of Fernando Takahashi ahead.
Just a little bit as we go on board now with Ken Copeland. Again, had the early spin, so he's on this recovery. He is probably the quickest of the group that he's behind right now, but this is not the easiest place to pass. You have to do it like this, a little aggressive, watch somebody bobble, and then duck to the inside as he does go to the inside now. Michael Caffrey in the similar AMG. Copeland now with a run. Next up, looks like it's going to be Chris Thorman and then Chris Peters. The Chris and Chris battle ahead in the Porsche and the Ferrari. Jacob still battling with the other Jagoda brother, Lucas. This battle's been going on for a while. We've seen a couple of passes now back and forth. Jacobs, is he going to try and outbreak him into one? Nope,
not this time.
I'll tell you, the difference between a good lap and a great lap around this track is your exit of turn 1. The rest of the track I find I can do pretty consistently, but that turn 1 is so difficult. It's kind of blind. It's over a little bit of a crest at the apex. There's sausage curbs abound, but if you can get it right, it's a fantastic lap then. So but if you don't, you're going 2.5 miles round. At least if I can get it right the next time.
Yeah, and Larry, speaking of which, Bailey Petrowski just had 2 laps ago. Had one of those great exits at turn 1, turned the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.78, and probably a 1:17.31, my mistake, and almost 4/10 of a second faster than any of his GTP compatriots here.
He's getting into a groove now. We saw him kind of slow early. We saw him kind of playing with Dibble a little bit, just to be conservative, I should say, with Dibble and with Takahashi, and now that he's settled in, his speed is starting to show. Petrowski kind of putting his groove in here. Let's got to keep our eye on Ben Rose. Does he have any answer? Ben comes in winning the last 3 rounds, putting himself in a points position battle here with Petrowski. So Ben, with this round plus 1 more to go, as there's a Ferrari in the middle of the track, and that's the 61 of Phil Caffrey. That's a sim issue if I had to guess.
Yeah, it looked like he was having some trouble getting that car back underway.
That looked a little bit like a reset of the wheel and pedals like we had seen with Travis Schwenke at Road Atlanta last week in our other series.
Mid back straight,
yeah. So I'm wondering if that's maybe what was going on there for Caffrey. Oh, we got a replay. Why don't we check that out as he comes around turn 7.
Oh.
And he spins. He was sitting here. Maybe he just sat there saying, let me let these guys go by. So maybe this was just a spin recovery for him. That right there, though, tells me the fact that he came to a dead stop, that he was resetting something.
Yeah.
What if he stalled the car? Our director has other theories of what he was stopping for. We'll let those go.
maybe if he hadn't had such an infant sitting in his lap for the entire broadcast, his answer would have been different, Larry.
Yeah, John, not everybody fills their drawers every time they get scared like your child in your lap. All right, back to racing as Ken Copeland now is up onto the heels of Chris Peters. He's already gotten by Chris Thorman that he was trying to get by a moment ago. Now he's got 1 more in this pack. If he can do it, he'll still be in 5th because he's got a couple AM drivers in front of him, but this will get him up into the top 7 of the overall. Get that move down the inside.
That was gorgeous.
He's stable. He's got some pretty good pace here.
Yep, and he's got Chris Thorman trying to follow him third, and it looks like Thorman is going to Thorman's going to have to take the outside here as we have the quick little bend running down into turn 3. But Thorman gets it done, gets around Chris Peters as well.
A good move there for Thorman, kind of following a little bit of what had happened there, following the Copeland pass. Both Copeland and, of course, Peters had gotten a bit of a slow run off at turn 1. That gave Thorman an opportunity to keep up with Copeland all the way down to 3. So there's Thorman right there, kind of letting the GTPs on through. Because here they come.
Yep, there's Petrowski, there's Tanner Dibble. As again, Thorman giving those GTP drivers lots of room. Looks like Rose and Petrowski not very far behind. There goes Rose, and we should see Petrowski coming through, or probably see Takahashi as well here in that light gray Porsche.
Yeah, he's a couple seconds back now. He's fallen about 9 seconds back of Rose there for 3rd spot. Is that is a Mercedes facing the wrong way? I think that was Michael Caffrey facing clearly the wrong direction of traffic there.
Yeah, so the Caffrey's having some issues here tonight. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened to the 66 machine.
Let's see if it looks exactly like what the other Caffrey did. It looks eerily similar.
Very similar.
Except this one ends in contact for Michael. Phil Caffrey at least looked like he did with his without contact, but both of them struggling at the same spot.
Same spot.
Yeah. Have a little laugh over a Foster's about that one. Glad somebody got that joke. All right, so that is Divock kind of now fighting with his teammate there from the wrong stuff, Jeff Brooks.
And that is the battle for 2nd in AM.
Critical for Brooks, I think, 4 points. We know that Divock comes in as well as a points leader in the class, but for Brooks, really needs a strong finish here if he wants to come up into a podium spot for the end of the season. He would love to be on the podium, even the 2nd spot here. So I think it'd be critical for him to try and grab that spot from Divock for the end of this race if he can. But Divock, of course, wants to stay ahead of Leo Dragotta, who's already shown how strong his pace is here tonight, too.
Yeah, and so we were talking, Jeff Brooks came into the evening just 2 points in arrears of Alex Brown. Brown in the Team Collusion Porsche 911 with 211 points, 209 for Jeff Brooks, running 4th and 5th in the championship.
Right. Pit windows open for Fernando Takahashi, the WJM Motorsport entry in that Porsche. He is into the pits now for his stop.
And he pits in on lap number 22, it looks like, Larry. And early on in the GTP window, we figured it would probably be opening up probably right around lap 21.
Yep, it's officially open on lap 21. All right, so Leo Dragotta is still in this spot, hanging with the back of Schwenke, and Hartley now, the other Orion car right behind them. So it's Orion, Dragon Sport Orion, your top 4 right now. As Michael Brooks continues to, he's there, just a few car lengths back there in the 5th overall, 4th and pro. Leo looks very smooth tonight. Schwenke just a touch wide there as Ben Rose goes on by in his GTP car.
And that next car in line that we're looking at, that's Michael Brooks. That's another pro car. So quite a distance back. When we checked in, I think the last time, Larry, there was about 5 seconds separating Dragotta and Divock. And as Divock and Brooks have been challenging for 2nd, Dragotta's been able to stretch out another 5 seconds on that pair.
Yeah, he really has got some great pace tonight. And you notice he's not really fighting with the Orion cars. No. He's just running with them, which means the 3 of them are just a freight train right now. He really, I'm sure, would love to try and get around one of these guys and pick up more points, because even though he's a different class, your points are dictated by where you finish overall in the GT3. And if he's in that points battle coming into this with Trey Divock, Leo would love to get one more spot and see if he can get himself in the top spot going into the last round in 2 weeks. But for now, he's content just kind of ride it out with these guys, right in between the Orion breads to his Dragon Sport meat sandwich.
That's right. So Dragoda came into the evening sitting 4 points in arrears of the Wrong Stuff's Dre Diva.
And Takahashi is somewhere in this mix. Should be right behind Hartley as they come around here to turn 10. Thought there was one. Maybe I missed it. Oh, what I was seeing then. Apparently I'm just seeing blurs of GTP cars in my sleep.
All right, let's jump Larry a little bit further back to another train. This is going to be Jackson Detmer in the 77 BMW, Lucas Dragoda in the 119 machine, then Chris Peters in the blue Porsche, the 43 machine, and then Jeff Jacobs, and then with the tartan, it's Canadian Alex Brown.
Yeah, pretty good little train going on here as Bobby Childs tries to get through them one by one by one. He probably will now before they even get up to 3, but yeah, quite the train here. A couple of Porsches in this thing with a couple of BMWs nestled in there. It's a good battle among the 4 of the GT3 AMs and then 1 Pro of Jeff Jacobs in there. It looks like Lucas has got himself a little bit of damage on the front end of his Porsche.
Yes, it does. All right, Bill Mulfield came down the pit lane in his GTP Porsche and has taken service. So it looks like he's the second of our GTP machines to pit in for what should be their sole pit stop of the evening, sole scheduled pit stop of the evening.
I love watching cars and driving a car around these couple of corners. You just have to, you float the entry into a very difficult turn 6 where the back end wants to get to loose. Then it kind of runs downhill into 7, and if you get the entry to 7, it's so rewarding. Around 7 across the curving, almost touching the sand at the apex there of 8, and then down this downhill off camber a little bit here at 9, and then of course the back to on camber at the middle of the apex there at 10. It's an amazing sequence of corners at this track that just makes it such a joy to drive, and side-by-side racing is just so good here, as we've already seen a lot of these spots. Through 1, through 3, and 4, it's just so many great spots for this place to just show its true raciness.
Yeah, and you're just that whole complex there, Larry. You're just continuing to grab speed and pick up more speed as Tanner Dibble now pits in from 2nd position in GTP, and he comes in on completing lap number 24, or probably completing lap number 25 by mistake. And we'll see how things play out then as Petrowski, though, Larry. He's putting down heaters, just turned in a 1:16.98. That's his fastest lap of the race. Wow. Yeah, and this is going to also move Ben Rose now for the time being up into 2nd position, but Petrowski with almost a 13.5-second advantage.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of that's raw speed, but it's also traffic management, how quickly he can dispose of the GT3 cars in traffic, because he's not losing 4 seconds a lap. He can cut that down to just 1 or 2 seconds every time he's got to go through the back of these cars. He's so good at picking his way through. I suspect tonight Ben Rose might be driving a little bit tight, maybe just trying to hang on to max points here and making sure he doesn't cause any incidents with these cars where Petrowski just has a rhythm through traffic.
All right, so let's do this, Larry. We're not quite up at the top of the hour, but I think the GT3 window has just about opened up, and it looks like Alex Brown might be taking advantage of that now. Let's do this. Let's quickly go take our mid-race break here. Thanks to our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here from the Red Bull Ring, where you are watching round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by MRA Advisory Group, Buttkicker, and Performa Elite here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to the Red Bull Ring for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by MRA Advisory Group, Proforma Elite, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, a couple of things going on here, but in the meantime, let's take a look at this battle for third in pro with Robert Hartley and Michael Brooks. Have been going for about 3 laps now.
Yeah, Hartley had faded a couple laps ago from the battle in front of him that was Travis Schwenke, his teammate, and then Leo Dragotta, the AM leader. Hartley then fell right into the grips of Michael Brooks. Brooks actually had him for a little bit, then they went side by side, and Hartley got the spot back, and this has been a good little scrap now the whole time we're at break watching this. This has been a lot of fun. This is your classic Red Bull Ring racing between the two of these types of cars, and again, looks like here a pretty good run out of this one for Brooks. See if he can get back up there, but Hartley did not do himself any favors by fading back for the battle up front. Brooks was loving it to stay right there with him.
Yeah, and so, we were wondering what may have happened to Robert Hartley to drop back, because of course the last time we'd seen him, he was right in the thick of that battle with his teammate Travis Schwenke, and then Leo Dragotta, who's our leader in AM. Next thing we knew, he was about a second and a half back from that fight. We didn't see anything happen to Hartley, but we're going to take a look now at something else happening. Possibly, we're thinking that maybe Hartley had to check up, possibly. But let's do this. We're going to watch Tanner Dibble.
Well,
right
this
now.
Might explain it, because that's Hartley right next to Dibble.
Right,
as Dibble goes around, and that's what it was. Both Brooks and Hartley had to slow down a little bit and wait for Dibble to do his spin. Dibble, of course, the early leader of the race and one of the earliest pit stoppers, has now spun its way out. We'll have to see how that shakes up when Petrowski, Rose, and Reisman come in for their pit stops later on.
Yeah, indeed, and so that now puts Dibble down into in the fourth, probably fifth position, as Bobby Childs is now coming down the pit lane for his service. Pits in from fourth as he had taken over the position from Dibble. Dibble now, however, is going to retake fourth position in GTP as we jump back over to this fight now for third in pro. And wow, look at that, Brooks, nice move on Hartley.
Yep, he's able to get that inside line before they get to the breaking point there at 9. He's got a good run around here around 10. Probably picks up a 1X, but everybody does around there. Just don't pick up the off track or the slowdown penalty. But again, these two swapping positions here. This is the third place in pro. Fourth on the track amongst all the GT3s. And there you can see them swapping one faster on one lap, and then it switches the other way.
And interestingly enough, Larry, in their pre-race drivers meeting, the stewards, I don't want to say warned, but they reminded the drivers of the penalty structure here if you have an extended number of off tracks. If you have a 20x, you're fine. That's the limit. But as soon as you hit 21, you have a point deducted from your championship standings, and if you go as high as 26, you end up incurring a drive-through penalty. So we'll take a look. It looks as though we may have, and again, we don't have an exact count that will show us exactly what iRacing shows for these drivers, but as I'm looking at it, Larry, we may have some drivers mid-pack that are getting kind of close.
Yeah, there's a one that stands out as a potential candidate for that slowdown. It's Michael Brooks, who we're watching right now. As my screen says, he's got 33. The leader at the clubhouse turn here ahead of Chris Peters, who's got 27. Everybody else at around 20 or under, but we'll see if Brooks actually ends up getting assessed a penalty. Again, my numbers are not official. Only the sim knows for sure, and I'm sure Michael knows. But we'll see. There you have on the screen what we believe those numbers are. As you can see, John's computer has a 30 there for Brooks, or mine says 33. But either way, would be more than what the limit's supposed to be. He's been in some good battles, though. So maybe we should wait like 10 of those, just because the battles have been so
just
good.
because the battles, exactly.
The judges say it's been good and entertaining, so we'll give him some of those X's back. Sim doesn't let me do that.
But why? It should.
It should give me that power.
Oh no. Sorry, Anna.
Sorry, Anna. I know. I don't like being the bear. Maybe I do like being the bear. Bear of bad news, but in this case, it is bad news. We don't know for sure. Again, all I know is there's a number on my screen. You'll have to ask Michael. Well, maybe want to wait about another half an hour.
A little bit, yeah.
Ask him how many he has. And now he's being careful around all these corners where he can pick them up, like this one. Later on the gas, just in case. Why don't we take a look at the Travis Schwenke, see how close he's catching to his teammate there, Mike Dam. Because you can see Travis pulling away a little bit from the amp leader, Jagoda. They were nose to tail for quite a while. And now you can see that Schwenke opened that up a little bit. The last few laps, Jagoda's reeled him back in just a little bit. But you can see in front of him, there is your race leader, Mike Dam, about 2 seconds up the road. He was at one point nearly 4. So these guys are starting to close up just a little bit, or at least Travis is. As now you see Mike getting into
Larry, as I say, not only is Anna Brooks going into convulsions, I think Tim Brooks is well. You've awoken the chat beast here. Yeah.
I am so sorry. Don't worry. Your mind will be off of it once Bobby spins.
Bobby Childs will do something to garner all of our attention soon enough.
All right, so this, of course, back to Mike Dam as he's working his way through some lap traffic. He's got Jeff Jacobs there in front of him in the other BMW, which means the pace that these guys have. Now, we did just see that Mike Dam had reset fastest lap of the race the last time around, so he must have noticed, like we all did, that Travis was starting to catch him and decided to reset that lap. But I think Travis is on a bit of a heater this time by. We'll see what it looks like on timing and scoring, because Travis is putting in a good one to close this now to under 1.7 seconds.
Indeed.
Yeah,
almost
Travis does about
4/10 of a second faster than Dam that last time by.
Wasn't a personal best for Travis because he had done a 29.3, but it was faster than Mike Dam's quickest of his personal of the race, 29.4. So these guys are flying.
All right, Larry, coming onto the pit lane now on completing lap number 34, Bailey Petrowski in the D2D Acura. And he came in with about a 16, almost 17 second advantage over Ben Rose. Rose yet to pit. Let's Petrowski runs a little deep in his pit box, has to back the car up.
Okay, well, he did have a bit of a cushion when he came in, so we'll keep our eye on him and whether or not the rest of this pit stop is clean, as well as the exit when they come out through the cattle chute of guardrails. And then we'll keep our eye on Ben Rose. How much longer does he decide to stay out, as we are now inside of the last 30 minutes of this race, having just past the 45-minute mark. There is your new leader, Ben Rose. They come in a very, very tight points battle. Pull that up real quick. As the leader was Petrowski by just 5 points. Sorry, Ben Rose came in as the leader, 5 points ahead of Petrowski. And Petrowski, of course, had that rough finish last time out at Monza. But now, 5 points difference between them.
All right, Larry, and Mike Dam comes down the pit lane. Your GT3 leader now coming in for his service. Greg Brockway coming in from a little bit further back in the field as well in his Ferrari. And so that's going to move Travis Schwenke now to the lead with Dragota, Michael Brooks, Robert Hartley, Jeff Brooks rounding out your top 5. And there's Schwenke, who's put, I guess that Jeff Jacobs. He's put the Jacobs BMW between he and Leo Dragota for the time being. Is Takahashi appears to appears awfully patient for the moment here.
Yeah, letting these guys do their thing in front of him without interrupting their battle. That's nice of him. The WJM Motorsports entry. See, when he gets to the exit of turn 8, he'll probably blast on by all 3 of them.
All right, Ryan Reisman now pitting in from 3rd in GTP. There's the 414 Cadillac. He's got the big DNA banner up on his wall.
Take a chance to kind of stretch his hands and take an extra deep breath. See what his position looks like when he comes back out.
And Schwenke and Hartley pit in together, Larry, from in GTP, or probably in GT3.
All right, so it was about 2 seconds between them when they came in. Let's see what it looks like. Who's got the faster pit stop here?
And Jeff Brooks, who is in that battle with Robert Hartley, comes down the pit lane as well. And we're starting to see more and more drivers.
Leader,
Ben Rose.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep our eye on Petrowski now that Rose is in for his stop. We look at the Orion cars. Schwenke back underway. Keep our eyes on Mike Dam in that battle between those 2 teammates. Here comes Dam up into 1. Schwenke exiting the pits. Going to end up in 2nd, but by how much? It's close. Look at that.
Feet, Larry.
Good run for Travis Schwenke to close that gap up. We've got a race on our hands here in GT3 Pro.
Yeah, indeed we do, and we'll see then. Of course, that now puts, for the time being, Leo Dragota back into the GT3 lead, as Dragota had been our pole sitter. But we'll see how things play out for him. He is yet to bring his car down the pit lane, but for the time being, there you go, Dam and Schwenke within a couple feet, and now we're not going to have to wait long as Leo Dragota comes down the pit lane for service.
He's in. Good and late on the brakes. Down to the pit speed limit. We'll see where he comes out relative to, obviously, to the front of the field, but also relative to Dre Divock, currently running 2nd in that class. Dre has not yet pit. Actually, I'd say that, and he's on his way in as well. So
on his way in, a lot of the wrong stuff drivers. Michael Brooks pitted in
Copeland
from the lead.
Yeah.
And Ken Copeland in as well.
Right in there behind Dre Divock.
And we thought that the GT3 window, Larry, would extend out to lap 31. And so, well, there you go. We've got drivers coming in just having completed lap number 31. They'll be starting lap number 32 as they come down the pit lane here.
All right, so Leo Dragota back out. He's going to be a couple seconds, though, at least, behind the 2 race leaders, the 2 Orion cars in front of him, probably 3 Orion cars. He does come out, though, in front of Hartley. So Dragota resumes that 3rd position in the race.
Yeah, and Larry, look at the order of the 2 Orion BMWs just ahead of him. That is Travis Schwenke in the number 16 machine. He has gotten around Mike Dam to take the lead here at the Red Bull Ring. Let's take a look and see how it happened.
Okay, so there's Dam going around turn 7 into 8. And that's out of 6 into 7. And Schwenke just way more smooth down the inside. Dam struggles. Schwenke gets the good run and takes the lead.
And that was the corner that we'd seen earlier on in the race, Larry, where I think we saw Travis Schwenke run wide at one point, and I think we had one of the wrong stuff machines trying to come underneath him. Looks like he learned the error of his ways, so moved the 16 machine up to the lead. A little bit further back, this is Ken Copeland, who now has made his way up to 5th position in pro after his lap 1 spin. He's got Dre Divock in the wrong stuff Porsche, the number 12 machine, running directly behind Divock, as he has been running 2nd in AM. Both of those drivers have completed their pit stops. I think the only driver at this point that hasn't come down the pit lane, Larry, is Phil Caffrey in his Ferrari.
Yeah, and that looked like, was that a Rob Hartley going unusually slow?
Slow, yeah.
Perhaps got himself a slowdown penalty back there for Hartley. As Brooks is definitely around him. Yeah, he may have just picked up one of those slowdowns around here. We'll catch a quick replay. There is Hartley in that number 3 Orion entry coming up here to turn 9. And then immediately followed by the quick turn 10. That's a whole spin. That's more than an off track. That's a tail slapper there.
It was a pretty darn good recovery.
And probably a course cut as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Would have been great if he hadn't already come down the pit lane for service, Larry.
Right in front of Michael Brooks, who we had the good battle with before the pits. Now he's got to go and chase him down again. And he does come back into that 4th in pro, 5th overall in one order. This is back to the Schwenke and Dam battle for the lead. Leo Jagoda just trailing. Let's see if Leo's got a little bit on reserve in his pace to try and catch these two. We've seen them go pretty quick at the end of races, so we'll see if tonight's one of those races. It's only been a second back.
Yeah, let's take a look, because this will be his first full lap after taking service, and Dragoda almost 0.3 of a second faster than Schwenke and Dam. So at least for the time being, he is making up a little bit of ground.
He certainly is, and he's very quick through turn 1 right there, while the other two were dealing with a lapped car in front of him. It might have been...
That's I think that's the Caffrey Ferrari.
Yep. Yeah. And look at that. That has helped Dragoda catch right up to the Orions, and we have a 3-horse race for the lead in this race. This is going to be good.
As we've got the... See here, so we've got just about 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah. So there's speculation that maybe Mike Dam didn't put a full load of fuel in, that perhaps he needs to be behind his teammate to save a little bit of fuel. So we're going to keep an eye on this to see how lack of aggressive Mike Dam is for the next maybe 15 minutes before making a stab at this thing.
And Larry, it would be awfully close there, because Dam... who came in a lap earlier was in the pit box almost a full second less than Travis Schwenke, who came in on the following lap. So
and the other thing is, Schwenke did spend some time trailing other cars, which is always the best time. It's like Dam might have just caught himself a slowdown. We'll see if that was or not. But Schwenke spent some time behind other cars, which gives him the opportunity to save fuel. Mike Dam really didn't. In the opening of this race, he grabbed the lead, never had a chance to sort of play the second goose in the lineup. I do wonder if maybe he does need to save fuel at this stage, and maybe even now he might even let Leo go by. We'll see. We know these Orion guys, they've been known to cut their fuel loads really tight.
Very tight.
Leo looks aggressive, like he wants to get by if he can find the spot. Maybe even try and force Dam into a bad exit down at 4. As they're catching up to the 67 of Alex Brown, not too far in front of them.
Yeah, and you saw him take that little look coming out of the prior corner as they come out of 3. Let's take a look here as they come around the quick bend and into the double left-handers here at 6 and 7. Love this shot.
Yeah. I like that line Dragoda takes, just really using all the curb in the apex of 7. He gives a nice clean exit of 7 and across 8 without having to lift. I think it's a really good run for him. I like that line a lot if he can get it, if cars can do it. Schwenke, though, has been the fastest car in the track probably since about the third lap of the race. It just took him a while to make his way back through the traffic to get up into this lead position, and I think he's showing that he is the fastest car and everyone else has to bring the race to him.
Where I'm looking to see if that is Takahashi back behind.
It might be Molefield in the 91.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's Bill Molefield, who didn't seem to necessarily be on the, he's getting up to him, but again, he's just kind of sitting back and letting these GT4, GT3 drivers go through.
Of course, teammate, the WJM is, of course, the Bill Molefield, and his teammate is Fernando Takahashi. They have very similar liveries on the WJM cars. Leo all is able to take advantage of an opportunity that Mike Dan might present him. Dan's car even looks a little squirrely even on that curbing outside of 6.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that, and we saw how he had pushed wide. Didn't get a lot of front end bite coming into 7 when Schwenke took over the lead.
You keep in mind, don't forget, Leo Dragota was the pole sitter in this thing. So he came into this race with the hottest lap time of everybody. So we know he's got raw speed. Now he's just got to find a way to get past these Orion cars if he wants to maximize his points in his battle with Trey Devon. Molefield picks 1. Trying to really not interrupt this race. I think that's what Molefield's trying to do.
I think that was pretty clear from that move there.
There is his teammate. There's Takahashi alongside a Ryan Reisman. That is the battle for 4th.
And Larry, as we're watching this, notice how far back Leo Dragota had dropped off the 2 Orion cars as they were coming, as we had Molefield coming into that, I guess it was turn 1, but Dragota really dropped off now a lot and appears to continue to slow.
Well, it's going to happen again here as the cycle of these GTPs come through now to the inside of Schwenke. He's going to have to back off a little bit. Mike Dam probably had to do the same. It'll work itself out here in a moment, as you'll probably see. But I think it did, like you said, it started in 1 when Molefield took just to the inside of Dragota, but I think it'll work itself out. A little bit more gap now than there was a moment ago between each of them, but I think they're all still within earshot of each other. Still wondering who's got these slowdowns. I know I'm making the whole Brooks fan club here nervous.
Yes.
It's Michael Brooks on my screen says he's got 39 of them.
Well,
Jeff Brooks has 32, by the way.
Yeah, well,
there's something in the Brooks water.
Yeah, and I'm showing 45 for Michael.
And Jeff at 32 is the second most on my screen, so it is a Brooks 1-2 in that category. Sorry, Tim and Anna, but I just see it. Call it like I see it.
Well, we'll know if they come down for a drive-through penalty or not sometime soon.
Feel free to type in the chat if you hate the announcer calling out the number of off-channels. It's okay. I can take the criticism.
Anna says, "Oh my God, what?"
We have not seen anyone serve a penalty yet.
Exactly. Well, so Larry, here's the issue, and I've been trying to listen to the radio to hear if there's any intervention from one of our stewards. And so if there are no stewards available to catch that somebody has hit that limit, then there's, I believe, a 5-second time penalty assigned after the race. So that could be it as well. Again, we don't know for sure. We don't have the official counts. But we just saw there as Travis Schwenke went very, very wide coming out of turn 9.
What I can say, and I'm about to be the bearer of bad news to the Brooks family, is earlier in this race, Jeff Brooks was assessed a 10-second post-race penalty for contact with he and the 15 at Ken Copeland, that incident we saw early in the race.
Yeah, so the little hip check, yeah.
Yes, there was in fact a 10-second post-race penalty assessed to Jeff for that. So whatever position he's in now, currently 5th at AM, He's currently 10 seconds ahead of the 6th place Jackson Detmer, so keep our eyes on that to see if it's a position change for him. But I know all this bad news happening all at one time. I'm just bad news lefty.
Sorry, Brooks is.
But he's still in the race, knock on wood. Yeah, there's all sorts of conspiracies out there that I just don't like, Brooks. It's not true.
It's not true. It's Porsche drivers.
I may or may not perform with Porsche drivers.
Speaking of which, Jeff Brooks getting around Chris Peters there, coming down to the front straight into turn 1.
Yep. And he needs that again. If he's got to serve a penalty at the end of the race, you want to build that cushion on your rivals like Detmer and Caffrey behind you in the order, and try and keep up maybe a little closer to some of the others. So we'll see how that plays out.
Meanwhile, Larry, I keep looking back at the chat, and I'm fairly convinced that Anna and Tim all have emojis that I have never seen or used on my computers ever. All right, Here we go, coming up the hill towards turn 1. There is Bobby Childs. What could go wrong with our GT3 leader, Travis Schwenke and Mike Dam, and indeed, Leo Dragota. He's right there once again in shouting distance of the 2 Orion BMWs, as he's only, what, about less than 4/10 now.
Oh, he's
off the wing of Mike Dam.
Yeah, this is all right here in a row. Schwenke, Dam, and Dragota. And I'll tell you, one little misstep of maybe a GTP car passing somewhere in between the Orions, and Dragota could easily be leading this race. That's how close this is going to be.
Oh, and there's Ben Rose. Rose trying to make up that 20-second differential between he and Petrowski, as I think Rose, took 2 wins in a row, if I remember correctly.
3.
So, yeah, that's right, 3 wins in a row.
No, we'll see. I mean, right now, sitting in second is a good spot for him. He does need those kind of points. As right now, it's just a handful that he has on Bailey with this 2 rounds, or 1 round plus 13 minutes to go.
13 minutes. Yeah.
It is a 5-point lead, and I would guess a 1st to 2nd place historically has been 4 points. All going to come down to drops and things and whatever, but it could be interesting. If there's a second drop to give, right now, Petrowski has the next worst finish to drop relative to them. So let's just say it's going to come down to the final round in 2 weeks when we get there. But tonight, these two doing what they needed to do to make sure that last round counts for something. We'll see if Mike Dam's got a little something for Travis. We know these guys don't play team orders. We've talked to them a lot of times that there's nothing about team orders. These guys, they will race all the way down hammer tongue to the last corner of the last lap. And it's Red Bull rings, which means it will come down to the last corner, the last lap, and who does or doesn't get that last off track or that last slowdown. I have seen races on this track decided by a slowdown on the last corner.
Absolutely, so yes.
We may be 12 minutes away from one of those kind of finishes. As they're catching up to Alex Brown. Ready to lap him in his 67. Yeah. So easy Alex makes it on these guys. Might be making it real easy right here as he ran wide at 7. Yep. It's his best to lift and let them all go.
And made it easy on exit. Didn't make it so easy on entrance, and I don't think that was his intention.
And that's, I think, Tanner Dibble right behind these guys, waiting for his spot to get on by. Tanner up the 3rd spot again. Dragota looks so good over these
I was just going to say,
that
Larry, you mentioned
so good.
You mentioned it earlier. He has just such a he has a line out of 1 that he gets the power down in it, and he picks up like maybe a quarter to a half a car length on the BMWs every single lap through there.
I think it's 2 things. I think he's driving well, obviously, but I think he's got the car set up supple enough that it's hitting curbs well. I notice every time he comes to turn 7, he's using all of the curb on 7, where not everybody in front of him is doing it. You watch him here, he's got more curb than BMWs. You watch him at 1, where it's sausage curbs everywhere. He hits both the apex and the exit. I think the car is just sucking the curbs up so well that he can take advantage of that and get these great runs. Look at, there he is again. The two BMWs are avoiding it like the plague, and he says, give me more curb, let's go. Look at it, same thing here. Look at this.
He's literally using all of it almost to where he's inside and on the fake grass there.
Yep. And if you could do that lap after lap, your tires don't take as much stress. You get really good exits. You can conserve the car right up to the end, and you're taking smoother lines. I'm telling you, he's in a really good position to make a move if he chooses to.
All right, well, as Schwenke opens up a little bit of a gap now back to Dam, let's take a look as they make the run up the hill towards turn 1 and see if Dragota can close things down. He always seems to lose a little bit of pace, Larry, there in that turn 9-10 complex. That he doesn't seem to get good speed onto the front straight, but again, seems to close it down here early on in the lap.
I think it's the one spot he's conservative, and he might just be afraid of the slowdown, because there's an off track you get if you go to a certain distance, and about a foot wider you pick up a slowdown. I think he's maybe just being cautious of that, and maybe here at the end of the race he might throw a little bit of that caution out to try and make that move. But that's where everywhere else you're not really at as much risk of a slowdown as you are coming off a 10. Everywhere else you might pick up a 1x or something, but it's the risk of a slowdown, because one of them will cost you a good 3 or 4 seconds of track position. I think he knows that he'd rather be conservative on the front straight and not throw the race away.
Well, Larry, and as we're watching here, and I noticed this going into the hairpin at 3, also at 4, Dragota is definitely getting on the brakes a little bit deeper than 2 BMWs right now. He's making up ground there. He does then lose on exit the BMWs then seem to stretch out, basically equalize whatever he gained coming into the corner. But let's take a look as once again through 9 and 10, he does appear to again lose a little bit of ground to the BMWs. Mike Dam, though, is pulled right back up to the back of Travis Schwenke after Schwenke had opened up about a 5-car length advantage. Let's take a look there. And there was that one lap.
There's a wiggle for Dam on the exit of 1.
Yeah, let's see here if Dragota can take advantage. Appears to be a little bit too far back, though.
Yep. And it is interesting. You talked about the exit of 10. Mike Dam is right now being one of the best coming off of 10. Very smooth, runs the car really wide. Dragota struggling there, but some of the other spots, Dragota seems to be quicker all the way through the turn 6, 7. I think in exiting 1, Dragota's quicker.
Certainly.
And Travis doesn't seem to have like a great corner or anybody else. He's just really good everywhere. You watch him and the car is super smooth. He gets just enough of an exit of 1. He gets a really good run on this lap coming off of 4 right there, but he doesn't seem to be too wide in the other places where sometimes Dan's a little bit more conservative. Travis is just really solid everywhere, where the polarizing strengths are really between Dam and Dragota.
Yeah, and this is the part of the track, turn 6, 7, the 2 left-handers, where Dam does seem to struggle a little bit. You can see as Schwenke opens up that gap just a little bit more as Dragota closes down on the back of the 93 machine as time is winding down now. Only about 7 minutes remaining, actually 6.5 here at the Red Bull Ring, as our GT3 drivers are just now completing lap number 45.
This time Leo with a really aggressive exit of turn 10. Didn't give up anything to Mike Dam. Let's see if he can get a good exit of 1 and make a run on him. This is what he needs to do, is a back-to-back set of straightaways to make these runs. And now he's got a pack of GTPs coming. That looks like that's Takahashi, that's Ricmotech. And oh, look at that. That's Petrowski, I think, sitting in the back of that pack. Oh, it is.
Larry.
Yeah.
That's our GTP leader trying to put Ricmotech and Takahashi a lap down.
Yep. And he's going to be braking right in front of, hopefully not in the way of, Travis Schwenke, our GT3 leader.
A lot of tire smoke in the air. There was some brake lock up there from Ricmotech.
Yep. And Petrowski's got to be very careful. He's got a 20-second lead on his rival Rose. The last thing he can do right now is throw this race away, trying to get around some lap traffic that are battling with each other for position. Because right now, Ricmotech and Takahashi are battling for 4th. Bailey's just got to do what he can to get around them. He does stay behind them here as they head up to turn 9. Just going to try and pressure a little bit to the back of Ricmotech. He's looking in his mirrors. He sees him there. He doesn't want to back off because he's in his own battle. And he honestly probably doesn't want this. He doesn't want to give up the spot to Petrowski because that becomes one less lap that he has to chase down Takahashi in front of him. Yeah, he wants to stretch this race out a little bit. He's talking. He's on the chats. Let's see who he's talking to. Can't be too aggressive at this point.
Petrowski's got, what, 20-second advantage?
Yeah, huge lead. Has no business pushing this too hard. He should just stay behind Ricmotech. Let Ricmotech fight. He's got all of 3.5 minutes left in this thing. And then he dictates when the checkered flag comes out. He may as well stay behind them enough that if either one of them has contact somewhere, he doesn't get pulled down with it.
You know, and at this pace right now, Rose he's making up about a second, maybe a second per lap, maybe a second and a half. You know, we've only got four. We've got 4 minutes remaining. Yep, here we go.
Get Ricmotech to the outside. Takahashi goes defensive. Petrowski says, "Here's my opportunity." He's going to take it. Ricmotech appreciate it as much as we do. Takahashi now got a little bit of breathing room. He has an opportunity to let race leader Petrowski by if he can. Again, there are blue flags in the sim. At some point, you have to at least yield, but the burden does fall to the passing car to do it cleanly, and that is Petrowski. Takahashi should lift and give him an easy line here somewhere. He's not going to. We have no choice, though, with the Frito Sport of 78 of John Casey in front of him. We haven't talked about Casey tonight. He's getting right in the mix of it now here with 3 minutes to go. Playing nice, probably bringing a Ricmotech with him. They're coming up on the Jeff Jacobs and Chris Peters. This is going to get dicey
I'm getting worried every time I see Petrowski putting the nose in.
Yeah, Petrowski just wants to get by, but Takahashi says, "Come on, man, I'm in a fight with Ricmotech." And Ricmotech's like, "I'm here too, let's go." There goes Petrowski, gonna run it wide, and he does get by. Look at Ricmotech now. 2.5 minutes to go. Probably 3 laps for these guys. The way we're going, maybe 2 laps. We'll call it 2 laps at 1:20 a lap. Oh boy, here you go. 4th place in the line. Is there contact? There was.
Lots of brake lock up from both of them, Larry.
I'm sure the stewards will look at it. That's going to be a tough one to call, but right now Ricmotech takes the advantage. Takahashi slow to exit that corner.
All right, let's take a look, Larry. Yep. I think we've already got, let's take a look at the chopper view. The overhead of this is there was a lot of brake smoke. We saw coming into the corner there as Ricmotech moved over, drivers left.
That's Petrowski earlier, I think. Oh, this is earlier run. Petrowski catching them. I think we're fast forward to the last lap.
Here we go onto the front straight, and now Ricmotech will move drivers left to the outside.
And he's trying to stay out there, but Takahashi does a little bit of a squirrel. They both do, and I'm wondering if the stewards are going to end up saying that that's just racing contact. Both of them were moving prior to braking, but we'll let the stewards make that call if they need to.
Yeah, all right, we saw that big wiggle from Takahashi there just as he walked up the brake.
Oh, it's a Bobby moment.
Bobby Childs.
And that is at the exit of 3, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming out of the hairpin at 3, heading down the hill towards 4.
Oh, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
And he's still in 6th. Let's get to replay of Bobby here as he's coming up that little kink to the hill in the braking zone. I'm guessing apex curbing, sausage curbing? And the exit curbing is what finishes him off. But he stays out of the way, I think, of the rest of traffic and is able to continue.
Yeah, just as our GT3 leaders were coming by, he came right across. Well, there you go. Now we won't talk about the Brookses for a while.
All right, so with about a minute, maybe a minute left, we should be getting a white flag next time by for the overall leader, Petrowski. And there he is. But the leaders in GT3 still is Travis Schwenke over Mike Dam, and Leo Dragota haunting the back of Mike Dam. There's Petrowski. This should be white flag lap. We should be on a white flag now. At least for Petrowski, and for these guys just got their white flag. As there goes the hour and 15 mark right there.
That's it. So Petrowski now, Larry, should be coming down into the final corners here.
And
there he is coming through turns 9 and onto the front straight. Just as we've crossed the 15-minute mark, and taking the win here at the Red Bull Ring for D2D Sim Racing, Bailey Petrowski. And runs, Larry, his fastest lap of the race on the very last lap, almost
All right,
4.
Let's check our GT3s, and there it is, Swanky. Look at Dam under pressure from Jagoda. He wants that second spot as they're now going to go through turn 6. Has Bill Molefield behind. He'll be conservative. I wouldn't worry about him right now. He's been this way all night, not really pushing these battles. Can Jagoda get 7? Decent run as we look out the back of Mike Dam's BMW. Swanky pretty safe right now. He's got to make it to 2 more corners to win this race.
And this is where Jagoda has had some challenges here as they come onto the front straight for the final time and taking the win in GT3 Pro. It's going to be Orion Racing's Travis Schwenke. Mike Dam will finish second. Taking the win in AM, Leo Dragoda, the driver of the number 118 Porsche, the Dragon Sport car, and also now that will leave Dre Divock to finish second. And look at that.
Yeah.
Leo's teammate Lucas finishing 3rd in GT3 AM. Congratulations to the driver of the 119 machine. And finishing 3rd in Pro will be Michael Brooks from The Wrong Stuff. And let's circle back to GTP, where we saw Petrowski take the win. Ben Rose's win streak ends at 3. He's going to finish second tonight at the Red Bull Ring. And Tanner Dibble, who early on had taken the lead of this race, he's going to come home with the bronze, finishing in 3rd.
Fantastic race, up and down, good battles everywhere. That GT3 battle between the pros and AMs was really good stuff. This is going to be really exciting to see how this points all add up after tonight with 1 round tonight. We got some folks to interview once we get a chance here in a few minutes.
That's right. So, Larry, let's do this before we have all 500 drivers jump into the commentary booth. Let's take a quick break. We're going to thank some of our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here at the Red Bull Ring, where you have just seen round number 7 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by MRA Advisor Group, Performa Elite, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to the Styrian Mountains and the Red Bull Ring here for round number 7 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. Which race are we doing tonight? It's the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by MRA Advisor Group, Performa Elite, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and let's quickly take a look at our finishing order once again, John, if we can. Taking the win in GTP, it's Bailey Petrowski from D2D Sim Racing, with Ben Rose finishing second for DNA. And it was a last round, it was a DNA top 3. Here they're going to have to settle for second, third, and fourth. Ben Rose finishing second, Tanner Dibbles finishing in third. In GT3 AM, Leo Dragota takes the win for Dragon Sport Racing, with Dre Divock from The Wrong Stuff finishing second, and Lucas Dragota finishing on the third step of the podium. Then finally in GT3 Pro, Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing taking the win, with Mike Dam second, and then Michael Brooks from The Wrong Stuff rounding out that pro podium. All right, so Larry, let's do this. Let's start off with GTP tonight, because we've got a heck of a points battle going on here. Let's first talk to Ben Rose, driver of the number 5 DNA Motorsports Cadillac, finishing second tonight here at the Red Bull Ring.
All right, Ben Rose joining us. And Ben, you come in with a couple of wins in a row and gotten yourself into the points lead here tonight, though. Bailey had some pace, but you ran a great, just a calculated race from our vantage point. Tell us what you thought from your side and what you think of your second place.
Oh, hey, thank you, guys. No, I just, unfortunately, I felt like I just didn't have the pace. Bailey was just too fast. I think this is a great combo for him, and probably the Acura with those exit turns, because I was getting a lot of wheel spin in the first 5 laps, but specifically in the first 3 when I was kind of trying to pass Takahashi going into turn 3, and I was just bogging out and losing so much time, and then I was kind of had to reduce my pace to ensure I didn't kill the rear tires. But yeah, I mean, I tried the best I could. I think second place is the best I could have managed today, and I think it worked out. My qualifying was horrible. I 1x'd my second fastest lap, and I think I might have been just maybe a 10th of my teammate Tanner, but it didn't pan out that way. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun race. It was kind of scary, a lot of traffic. I was being very careful not to kill anybody. It was very hard, especially when you had a group of 3 cars going into either turn 1 or turn 3. Or the last turn. It was quite difficult, because I felt if I try to dive that last car, I was either going to get killed by the second or the first car turning in, so I wasn't very aggressive at all. But I just Bailey, he just was too fast, unfortunately. No matter what I'd done, I think I don't think I would have been able to beat him.
Yeah, this place, you talk about that bit of chaos trying to get through some of these fields, and this track is one of those straightaways aren't that long, so you don't have that much chance to get by a field of cars. It's a wide-ish track, but not the widest track. And then, of course, you talk about the off tracks, which is crazy, which I think for 75 minutes, I mean, how much time can you actually get to rest while you're driving a car like a GTP around here? Or does it just feel like everything is a corner and you're just having to focus for every second of 75 minutes?
Honestly, you don't get to rest, because even if you have those little sprints, like you said, the longs are not that long. So you just get by one, and then you get traffic, and now you have to kind of dodge. And then specifically the infield section, it's like you have to be very careful timing it, because you might be a bit aggressive, and then you might end up lighting up the rears and maybe getting a bit fishtail, and you're either going to spin or maybe hit the other car, or maybe if he doesn't expect you to dive, they'll turn in and hit you, and then it'll just get worse. So this track is a bit of a quandary for me. It's like, I would think it's a fast-paced track, but it's kind of not. It's kind of in between, and it's like It just I haven't gelled with it yet. It's no Monza for sure.
It is not. It's a fascinating place, and but a car like one of these around here is just going to be a lot of work. But you pulled this thing up and did a very well-earned second place finish, and I'll just give you a bit of a preview here. You and Bailey are tied for the lead in points at 388 with 1 round remaining. So you might be 24 hours a day practice for the next 2 weeks getting ready for Sebring.
Hey, you couldn't have planned that from the beginning of the season, no, right? For the last race, the two guys are tied going into the last race, and if I win it, then we'll be tied in wins, and then I guess it will depend on the who had the worst finish. Oh, you know what? I was somewhat conscious now. Kind of changing the topic of I was trying to blink a bit more. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Yes,
I
you
tried
did.
blinking more.
That's good. That's good. That's good. We were a little worried your eyes were drying out, so I'm glad that you were doing a few more blinks. But awesome job tonight. If you need to not blink at Sebring in 2 weeks, if that helps you win, then do what you got to do. But tonight, a good solid second place to get to those max points. But I'm sure you got anybody you want to give a special thanks and shout out to here?
Yeah, definitely my wife, my teammate Tanner and Ryan. We kind of worked on it, and we just got to the point that we felt we couldn't really do much. So I think this is one of those races we're kind of glad we finished where we finished, and we're definitely glad it's over. And I'll try to put a sign next race that says blink twice for help, okay?
That's good. I'll make sure you get that help, because Greg over here is pretty intimidating.
Yeah, and give one to Poppy Childs too if you have a chance. All right.
All right.
Okay, guys, have a good night.
All right, everybody. That's Ben Rose from DNA Motorsports, finished second tonight here in GTP at the Red Bull Ring. Let's move on now to Bailey Petrowski, who, Larry mentioned, now tied with Rose coming into the final race of the season. And let's talk to the D2D sim racer now.
All right, Bailey Petrowski, your winner here tonight. And Bailey, for your efforts, you are now tied for the overall points lead with Ben Rose with 1 round to go. How are you feeling about tonight? Was this what you needed?
Oh, this is exactly what I needed. I didn't expect my pace to be so much quicker than everyone else's, but I'm going to take it. This has always been a great track for me, and I love racing here, so I think it went exactly how it could. Still trying to get the race starts figured out with this car. Still definitely struggling there and keep losing positions because of it off the start, but I at least have the pace right now in this thing to make up for it later in the race.
Yeah, once you got into that groove, you were able to get on past and kind of dispatch of Fernando that was up in there and get on past Tanner and just go and go and go. But sometimes it wasn't even just your raw pace. It was your ability to manage the traffic, where some of the other GTPs would take a few extra corners to get around a few cars. You seem to just zip on by them. Is that something you have to practice to get used to how to make those passes on those GT3s?
Yeah, it's definitely something you need practice and just experience with. I've had a lot of experience, probably more experience than any other track I've raced at with multi-class racing here, so I've got a very good idea of where the cars are going to be, where I can pass, where I can't pass. And it is a bit sketchy on this track when it comes to passing. There's a lot of situations where you're almost forced to dive bomb just because of how late or long of a corner it is and how late of an apex cars have to take to make the corner. So generally, you kind of just have to send it and just commit to it, and then generally, at least all the GT3s I was passing were very accommodating with that, and I was trying to get by as quickly as I could without slowing them down too much.
Well, I have to ask, at the last 5 minutes of the race, though, you'd catch up to the 4th place battle in your own class. You had Ryan Reisman and Fernando Takahashi, and you looked like you were trying to get by them both quickly, but that got a little tense there for a few minutes. From your side, were you just trying not to interrupt their race?
It was a bit of both. Because I think I caught them, and I would have had to wait maybe 10 minutes of sitting behind them to not interrupt them, and I didn't really want to afford that. But then, yeah, I wanted to get past as quickly as possible, but they were quick enough where I didn't quite have what I needed on the straight to get past, so I ended up just having to use traffic to kind of use it to get past, and I hope I didn't interrupt them too much, but yeah, it got a bit hectic for a little bit with that.
Yeah, it definitely had a bunch of us sitting on the edge of our seats wondering if this was going to be the end of your race or if you're going to make the hero drive past them, but yeah, you made it on through. They took care of themselves about 2 corners later in your wake, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, it definitely made us a little bit tense there for a few minutes. But so tonight you come in, you grab this thing, you get to the lead, you walk away from the field, and now you are tied for points going into the last round. We just got done talking to Ben. He sounds like he's going to practice nonstop for the next 2 weeks. Are you doing the same thing and jump onto Sebring tonight after we're done here and start running laps?
Oh, absolutely. I've already been doing laps, so I love that track so much. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be a great finale of the season. It's just such a fun track to race at and so good for battling.
Yeah, we are too. It's obviously meant for multi-class racing. It's what they do there every winter. So we can't wait for that one. But tonight you get to savor in this victory here for you and your teammates. But I'm sure you want to give them a couple of shout outs and thanks here for your efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanna thank my team, D2D, for allowing me to be part of their team and giving me this opportunity. I want to thank my friends and family for continually supporting me with my racing. I want to thank our sponsors that make this series happen. I want to thank you guys for commentating on this series and making it so professional. And yeah, thank you for everyone watching as well.
Well, congratulations to Bailey Petrowski. You got another win here, and now it's going to all come down to the last round in 2 weeks. We can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, everybody. Bailey Petrowski, your GTP winner tonight for D2D Sim Racing. All right, let's move over to the GT3s, Larry, and let's start off with our GT3 Pro winner tonight. And with his win tonight, Larry, looks like he's made up 2 spots in the championship, and he's only 2 points back behind his teammate. Let's talk to Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing.
All right, Travis, not the greatest qualifying performance of your days, but boy, you made it up with race pace by making your way to the front and not looking back. That start had to make you a bit nervous. Tell me a little bit about getting to the front of the field through this pack.
Yeah. First, I messed up the last qual lap. I did a slow third lap, and then I had a 0 going, which would have put me like 2 or 3, I think. But yeah, just didn't. Everyone was a couple tenths off. It really was tight up there at the front. Yeah, start. It was definitely. I knew it was going to stack up going into the first corner. Really going into 2, that was the bigger stack up that I guess I didn't expect. It was a little tighter there, and then we kind of got lined up and started running some good laps and getting a little gap, I think, on 5, and something must have happened behind there in P6 or wherever that was. Got Leo later in the race when that accident happened in front, and that was just, I didn't even see the accident starting to happen. My view's totally blocked because I'm right on the bumper of Mike Brooks, and can't really see it. Thankfully, was able to slow enough not to sideswipe Leo and hurt his race at all, but yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun trying to slice through the side by side with Brooks for a lap and a full lap maybe. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like an absolute blast. You just had a complete rocket ship under you tonight, and no one else could touch you. It was close there. You made your way back up through the pits, and it seemed like it was inevitable of when you were going to get by Mike, not so much about an if. And then you take that lead and leave him to battle it out with Leo for second spot, because he didn't look like you wanted any part of any sort of battle from that point on.
No, definitely didn't want any pressure. I was hoping, maybe Leo could make a move and get a little gap. I had one decent gap, and a LMDH sent it on me into 4, and I was actually sliding all the way, or 5. I got sliding all the way through entry, and thankfully it didn't loop, but I lost, like 7-8 tenths just in that little slide. So I knew the little thing could happen, so I was just trying to maintain and not kill the tires, because the tires were definitely getting chewed up here. So just didn't want to slide much, and that was one that definitely put some heat in them.
Yeah, it's a crazy track that's so much fun, but it's like a little bit of a bull ring, Red Bull intended. And,
yeah.
But for you, it's another victory here, so it's going to get you really close to that second spot. Gets you up to 3rd right now behind your teammate Rob Hartley, and of course Mike doing his own Mike things at the front of the field there when it comes to points. But good position now, you guys, to maybe run a 1-2-3 in pro category, and we'll see what happens in the next round. But for you, favor the victory here tonight for your team, and I'm sure you want to give a couple of thanks and shout outs to them.
Yeah, thanks to Apex, thanks to my teammates again. Good practice, and had everything pretty well set. As you said, it was a rocket ship, so I don't think the car, the Porsche definitely had good pace, but man, this thing was really good race pace, very consistent and easy to drive, and that's what I think won it for us there. So otherwise, yeah, Extreme and Huffy and support the support everyone gives us. This great series and great broadcast.
All right, well, congratulations on the victory here tonight for Orion Racing, Travis Schwenke.
Thank you.
All right, so Larry, that's going to leave us one more person to bring in, and I feel bad because we've actually two people that are sitting in the green room that I'd love to bring in, but I don't want there to be any kind of fight on the air because the person we're going to bring in tonight, Leo Dragota, moved into the lead in the championship. By the way, since the Brooks have been listening along and we kept talking about their the disqualifications and all the horrible things that could happen to him, Jeff Brooks moved up 2 spots in the championship tonight with his finish. So congratulations to Jeff. But let's bring in Leo Dragota. He was our pole sitter tonight in GT3, finished 3rd in GT3 and took the win in GT3 AM tonight, and he moves now into the championship lead.
All right, so Leo Dragota has joined us, your winner of the AM class, and for a bit there, we thought maybe, Leo, you were going to win the whole thing tonight in GT3s. You're on pole. You had some massive pace in this car. I got to guess this has got to be one of your favorite car track combos.
Maybe not track, but I do love this car. I just put a lot of practice laps into this race tonight because I knew this is kind of my last opportunity to tie it with Dre and get ahead of him going into the final round, because knowing Dre, we're not going to crash out, and I knew if we wanted to if it was gonna be finish in front of the other wins it, I needed to win this one or finish ahead of him, and that's exactly what I did.
Yep, looking at the points right now, you've got the advantage of just 4 points, 320 to 316, with 1 round to go at a track I'm sure all you GT3 drivers have a lot of experience at, Sebring. Are you ready for Sebring? I mean, it's got to be a place that I know you run a lot of other endurance races. You've probably got thousands of laps there.
Yeah, I love Sebring a lot, and I can't wait to practice it. And luckily for SCS, don't have to deal with that much, so I can just put 100% focus on our WC. So,
yeah, this is going to be a great finish for this whole season when it comes down to you and Dre in this finale. But also, I want to just give a quick shout out. I believe there was a Lucas that finished also on the podium here, your teammate, who I'm sure, for the victory tonight, you got a team you want to give some thanks to, but a 1-3 for Dragon Sport's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't know he finished third. I thought he was a little further back. I thought Jeff Brooks was right behind Dre there, but yeah, great finish for Lucas.
Yep, Lucas clipped him right there at the very end and came up into third, so an awesome finish there, and a great finish for you right from the get-go, not even challenged in the AM category. Awesome drive for you. Great speed tonight. We cannot wait to see you in 2 weeks. You got anybody else you want to give a thanks or shout out to tonight?
Lucas, you guys for the stream, everybody at the league, my coach, we had a little bit of coaching session for this race, parents for supporting me, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the victory tonight. Leo Dragota and Dragon Sport Racing taking the win in GT3 AM.
Thank you.
All right, there you go, Larry. So, great run tonight by the youngster. And I just love that. Oh, my teammate, he finished third. I thought he finished further back from there. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, he's focused on his race. That's what it was. That's
you have to be. You can't worry about everybody else on track. You can only worry about yourself. All right, so let's wrap things up here. Great bunch of interviews and great racing tonight here at the Red Bull Ring. But we've got so much more coming up across our 3 Ricmotech series here in the near future. Stick with us next Monday night. That's December 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It is the season finale of the sports car series. We're heading back to Watkins Glen International for a 60-minute race for our LMP3 and GT4 racers. Should be a great time. And then we wrap up the World Challenge a week later. That's 2 weeks from tonight. Going to be Monday night, December 11th. As you said, Larry, we're going to be heading to Sebring, and a track that wasn't necessarily built for multi-class racing. It was probably built for a whole bunch of B-17s, but our GTP and GT3 racers are going to be looking to finish up season number 8 of the World Challenge. And then we can finally announce, at least we've got a date, Larry, coming up Monday night, January 8th. It is the return of the Ricmotech Touring Car Cup, season number 24 for our Mazda MX-5 Global Cup cars and the GR86 Cup cars as well. Registration opens up December 13th. And if you'd like to see about registering, you can go to xmsracing.com/TCC. Again, registration opens up in just about 2 weeks. As soon as we get some information on the venue, we will definitely let you know. All right, so for Larry Lefty McLeod, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening from the Red Bull Ring, and we'll see you next Monday night at 8 p.m. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.